Hi everyone, Sakkred Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it is time for a review of the new Eltzeey Sakkred album. Los Angeles rapper, producer, songwriter Elton, aka Eltzeey, has joined forces with fellow rapper in his scene Sakkred to come forth with their debut collab record. Now, there was a lot of hype of this album on social media platforms such as Instagram or Snapchat promoting the quality of this album, and from the snippets I had heard, I could tell that the way Elton would be producing and mixing his own vocals as well as Dom's would be a large step up from there. Now, we start off with the intro, cleverly titled Intro, which features a theme I did not expect coming from these two artists that normally stick to more hype or laid-back instrumental. While the sample of the woman speaking layered over this slow, emotional instrumental was a bit jarring upon first listen, I grew to understand its ties into the album title, and it set the scene for what I thought was going to be an emotional album about struggling with topics like suicide and depression, as many other rappers in their lane that have touched on these topics have grown widely successful by sharing their understanding of mental disorders. So, jumping into the rest of this album, I wasn't too shocked to note that the lyrical content should not be something one hopes for when going to it, which again is very popular in the genre of music, and that's not a bad thing at all, which is why I mainly wanted to critique this album on its ability to keep me. In the first moment I was truly impressed by the production talent of Eltzeey would probably be when in the cut Without Me. Toward the beginning of Sakkred's verse, you start to hear this beautiful singing sample fade into play masterfully, as Sakkred does his best to harmonize with the spacey trap instrumental. Upon Eltzeey's verse starting on this track, he sounds a bit offbeat at the beginning before getting quickly back on it and riding it smoothly. Thankfully, this doesn't seem to be a recurring issue for Eltzeey. However, on another track, Friends, spelled epically because the F stands for a bad word, you feel me?
Sakkred Tano, the F stands for fake, you fucking idiot.
In this song, the line, "If you love Sakkred, you'll love Sakkred Live," should be instead changed to, quote, "If you like Sakkred, you'll love Sakkred Live," which parallels the line within the site that does not have to be directly stated. However, Fake Friends is a track where Sakkred really shines as a rapper, and with his delivery, which is of course masterfully tuned and mixed by the. Another track featuring a clever naming is the interlude, titled Lost Angelus. In this track, Sakkred gives into his emotions and performs a highly emotional display of talent, talking about his drug use. Now, easily, one of the best songs on this album would be Lunchtime Freestyle Battle, where Elton and Sakkred go back and forth, switching off between lines and verses. Which, again, can I just say, one of the highlights for me when it comes to this album would be the production. It simply is just, I can see it easily fitting into a major mainstream rapper's albums such as Little Baby or a few other songs that also had more of a trap influence and a harder beat than the rest of the record include Blue and Pop Out, as well as Get Out of My Way. However, in my opinion, while those are all still great tracks with the consistently adequate production by Elton, as well as the solid flows that both rappers utilize, none of them can reach quite the intensity and chemistry between Eltzeey and Sakkred on. This is what I felt the album should have focused on. Since the collab tape, I was really hoping for more of the type of chemistry and fun that was achieved on Lunchtime Freestyle Battle, as that way you could see the strengths of each rapper, as well as how they can play off of each other's flows. Speaking of the track Blue, it's the only feature on the album, consisting of a verse from Melo Going Crazy. Melo's verse was pretty alright, but kind of unnecessary in the grand scheme of the album, as well as the track itself. The track 11 really highlights Eltzeey's producing and talent, as the title track was obviously inspired by The Weeknd and fits an 80s. Sakkred had a very short verse on the title track, which fits well and keeps the listener's attention on the instrumental. This track is a good ending to the album, and has many parallels to previous tracks, such as the intro and Without Me, with its slow tempo and more spacey trap. Overall, I'm feeling a light 5 to a strong 6 on this one.
Transition. Have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next?